Welcome to the Impact on the Ground podcast series. I'm Tiia Sammalahti, CEO of whatimpact.com, a tech for good company with the mission to become the LinkedIn of CSR. In this podcast series, we'll dig deeper into what it takes to make an impactful change in our society. I'll give a voice to charities, social enterprises, companies, grant makers, individuals, and government officials who all have one thing in common. They are keen to make a difference. We dive into practical solutions and observe the dynamics of those who have resources to give and those working with the beneficiaries on the ground. Let's start making an impact together. Hello, everyone. And today's topic is something super exciting. I'm so happy to have Dr. Sherrie Baehr as a guest from the Silverlining Charity. Welcome, Sherrie.
Thank you. We're honored to be here.
So you are a neuropsychologist, if I understood it correctly, yeah?
That is correct.
And the Silverlining Charity is a brain injury charity, like we can see from the logo. But tell us about you and why have you decided to set this charity up, and how did it happen?
Well, it happened after years and years of practicing as a neuropsychologist and hearing very much the same story over and over again, which is I'm lonely, I have no friends, and I have no purpose. In fact, there's a key story which I often tell of a young girl who the goal for her was to get back to work, get back to work, get back to work, which is often the case. It spells normality for a lot of people. Well, we'd gotten her into a position and it was a real success. And she called me and she said, Sherrie, I'm leaving the job. And I said, why? And she said, because I can't stand in the corner and shred paper anymore. And we had found her a job, but the only job she was capable of in that organization reliably was to shred paper. So the inspiration of trying to find meaningful, trying to find the silver lining. You know, everyone in the charity has been very, very unwell. And many of them, if things had gone slightly differently, wouldn't be here today. So to find the purpose of their survival and meaning to their life is very important to the charity.
Tell us a little bit about brain injuries in general. What types are there and how they affect people?
Sure. We deal with mostly traumatic brain injuries, although which can happen from car accidents, falls, assaults, any way in which sports injuries. However, you can also have a stroke or an aneurysm. You could also be born with a neurological condition such as cerebral palsy. We do not discriminate with type of brain injury or age at the Silverlining.
Okay, so you felt passion to give purpose to people suffering from brain injuries and a lot of many times losing kind of all of their dreams and kind of they had to rebuild their lives. But how do you support them? What is the power of your charity?
Well, the power of the charity is that we bring people together in friendship and we come up with dreams that actually have significance. For some people, one person, it was that they did their flute sonata that they wrote and that they did the performance and that the funding would go to, believe it or not, wildlife aid to support penguins because penguins meant a lot to him as an animal. So it's extracting what really means something to the person. And the initial groups in the Silverlining wanted to do an Africa mission. So we went to Namibia And we renovated a school that had recently been damaged very badly by a storm. Well, the connection and friendship and the sense of purpose was so inspiring that we went on to do many more trips to Namibia, doing various goodwill projects. When COVID hit, the charity transformed completely.
In a good or bad way?
In a magical way.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
all of a sudden, we didn't have barriers anymore, because in disability, one of the biggest barriers is fatigue and transportation issues, because if someone has mobility issues after brain injury, everything takes a lot more effort. So by creating the online groups, we were able to open up doors to families and new brain injured that felt alone and lost and confused. And all of a sudden, we were welcoming them with open arms. So we now have 17 different special interest. We call it our Structured Therapeutic Activities for Rehabilitation, our STAR program. And we have everything from art therapy, music therapy, healthy relationships, yoga, book club, film club, football club. And each one of the groups has their own community within a WhatsApp line, so that people can remain connected and support each other throughout the week between the sessions.
Yeah. So you're harnessing technology now to your operation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to remove barriers for people in isolation after brain injury that may be confined to their homes for the large part.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, we have one lady who, would it not be for the Silverlining and the program of activities she does online, she would be recommended to be in nursing home care now, because of the isolation at home and the care demands on her family.
Yeah. So you are really improving the quality of life in many ways, but also supporting the carers. And carers' job is hard, and many times also limiting to them, because they cannot necessarily work in a normal way or travel or do kind of things that we consider normal, because 24/7 caring is a tough job.
Absolutely. The Silverlining also runs a monthly support group for carers online. So anyone could Zoom in from anywhere and access that free support.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. So let's talk about the scale of your operation. So how many people are kind of members or being kind of as a beneficiary role at the moment?
We have over 2,000 members, and we most likely have, because those are partly professional members, we probably have 1,000 brain injured members.
Yeah. What about the funding?
This-
Where does it come from? How do you kind of collect funding to operate this?
Wow. Well, over the years, we have had very passionate Silverliners run, walk, swim, climb. We have done every personal challenge, which has been wonderful, even jumping out of airplanes. But within the last 3 years, we now have a funding manager who is working with community funds and the lottery funds, and we've been very successful in helping to fund our online teachers, our online program through community funds.
Yeah, and I believe that I'm not like surprised about that, because if you think about kind of the impact of your work and the quality of life that you can provide, and this kind of support is very important after this kind of a traumatic health issue, which will be obviously dealt initially in NHS, like a public sector care. But where do you see kind of your role and kind of NHS care? How are you aligning and kind of how your responsibilities lie?
Sure. Well, right now we're focused on building a relation with the Child Brain Injury Trust so that we bring the children through into the silver lining more seamlessly. And I think we're the only adult brain injury charity working on that right now, is to building the bridges with the child organizations so that it's less awkward when they change service. We now have a link worker who is going to the NHS community rehab teams and talking about the service, so that if people do want to come and share their story, hear other people's stories, learn from other people's journeys, as well as to provide the needed structure. Once you leave community rehab and your structure starts to go, well, that's when people's mental health starts to really become at risk, because now you've got someone who probably isn't able to return to work right away, if ever, who is more socially isolated. They start to lose their structure, and mental health, unfortunately, is a huge risk in the journey of brain injury recovery.
So what kind of geographical areas you cover at the moment in the UK?
Well, for in-person, and the charity provides different levels of support, everything from just being on a WhatsApp line and listening to what happens in the groups, to joining online and maybe even turning your screen off and just listening if people feel shy, to in-person activities. So obviously the virtual activities,
Yes.
it could be anybody, anywhere. In terms of in-person activities, we operate in London, Oxford, Bath and Bristol, Manchester, West Midlands, Cardiff, and Surrey.
Oh, that's a wide scope. Yeah, amazing. Do you have company partners or corporate partners who are supporting you?
Yes, we do. We run a solicitor provider program in which people with like-minded values, because we are passionate about improving the quality of life after brain injury. We are passionate in opening up new talents, new activities, new pastimes, new ways to make friends, new ways to contribute. So the solicitor partners we have are all active volunteers in all of our groups. So very, very much we support our solicitor partners, because very often, very unfortunately, in brain injury, there may be litigation involved, and people need advice on solicitors who understand about brain injury.
So are these solicitors giving like free advice?
Yes, they run monthly Q&As on different subjects through the charity online. We have a mid-month educational talks. I will rattle them off if you give me a minute, because I don't want to miss anyone. Bolt, Burton, Kemp, Slater and Gordon, Royce Withy King. Oh, I don't want to miss anyone.
There are so many names in their names.
Nettie Law. Erwin Mitchell is coming on board. Field Fisher. I think that's it. I
Okay.
hope I
Well, that's already many, but I'm sure that there is a room for other supporters as well in terms of money and you know, and like you know, even I don't know, technology. You could be maybe in the need of some new technology improving the connectivity.
Right now, we are looking to develop an app for the charity
Ooh.
because we are managing so many WhatsApp messages every month.
Yeah.
And when I mentioned before that we're managing over 6,000 sometimes in a month, that people's privacy with their phone numbers and things. So
Yeah.
we must move towards an app. So we're working towards that.
Okay.
No.
Well, that's just amazing. Thank you so much for this chat, and you know, all the best to your charity, and the Silverlining charity can be of course found on whatimpact.com, and we hope that many companies and other grant makers find the organization and can do this kind of a commitment to support them either with the smaller or larger donation, volunteering, and so forth. Thank you so much, Sherrie. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
Could I mention one thing?
Yes.
In our online groups, we often do collaborative goodwill projects. And one of the collaborative goodwill projects we've just finished is a children's book about positive self-image as a brain injured person and resilience in the face of challenges. And so in the end of April, we will be having a book launch. The book is a collaboration between our creative writing group, our art group, our music group, and our photography group. So just to sort of illustrate how we bring these different creative processes together to do a goodwill project that will hopefully impact children with brain injury and their many friends, hopefully, who don't have injury.
Yeah, that's amazing, touching project for sure. So in April, are you going to start selling this book? Is it a fundraising mechanism?
Oh, absolutely. It will, in the first instance, be digital, but we'll definitely send you a copy and share it with you.
We will be promoting it through What Impact, of course, through our large email database, which is 15,000 actually organizations, and also then in social media for sure. Okay, thank you, Sherrie, so much. And at this moment, also happy holiday season, which is coming up soon. Have a good break, I hope, and then the year 2024. We hope that it's very successful for you.
And you too, Tiia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.